Hey guys, welcome to today's Vehicle Visionary. Today I've borrowed this 2021 version of the Honda Passport EXL from my friends at Holmes Honda here in Shreveport, Louisiana. So today we're just going to take a quick look at the EXL trim level and see what you can expect to find if this is a model you want to pick up. This particular model features an exterior color of deep scarlet pearl coat and a beige interior. And real quick, considering the fact that we are looking at the EXL trim level today, you might wonder about additional trim levels and what their base prices are. For at least the 2021 model year, I'll put that information on the screen for you real quick. Feel free to pause the video if it's not there for you long enough. And something else that obviously is very important, considering the fact that the day and age we live in, there are features that at one point no one ever thought about on these vehicles. Safety features, for example. What do you have? Well, let's list a partial list of those on the screen. And if you want to see the full list, check out the link down in the description of this video after you've finished watching, of course, unless you're going to pause and come back and finish watching. It'll take you to the Holmes Honda website and you can see the full list of the features, the safety features, and all that good stuff. As far as headlights, fog lights, and tail lights, everything is LED. You have heated power side view mirrors, and the most popular question that I get in my videos, if I don't talk about it with those side view mirrors, is does it have built-in turn signal indicators? In this particular case on the EXL trim level, you bet it does. And under the hood of the front-wheel drive Pilot that we're looking at today is the 3.5-liter V6, 280 horsepower, 262 pound-feet of torque. And the Pilot is among the best in class when it comes to MPGs. Estimated 20 miles per gallon city, 27 on the highway, 23 combined. You will find across all trim levels there is a 9-speed automatic transmission that comes standard. I didn't say it was standard, I said it comes standard, so be careful what you hear there. Believe it or not, people will mix up some of the things that they hear in these videos, so got to make sure that everyone understands. Would be interesting if there was a manual transmission available, but unfortunately not for those who may be looking for such a thing in this day and age. Hard to find. And while it may not be as necessary on a model with 280 horsepower as you might find on lower powered SUVs, the Pilot does have hill start assist in the case that you need to use it. And as we start talking about the interior, you do have a power rear liftgate. Now, if you don't see a sticker right here, just in case you're wondering, that means it is a power rear liftgate, but you don't have that kick feature down here to open it. I've actually had people that told me in comments of other videos on Pilots and other Honda SUVs that the rear door was stuck. Make sure to know your trim levels so you know whether or not the trim level you own has that feature or not. Now, real quick, let's take a look at the remote for 2021 lock unlock. You do have a button to open the power rear liftgate. There's also a button right here above the rear license plate area and a button on the driver's side door. You also have remote start, which is obviously beneficial in, well, a number of ways. And real quick, here's the difference between the Passport and the Pilot, one of them at least. You will find a spare tire, but it's not here under the rear floor. As you take a look at the underside of the Pilot, if you've always wanted to see that, well, now you have. Now you see the spare tire is actually located underneath the vehicle, just so you know. And of course, this is a 3-row SUV. Believe it or not, there is a reasonable amount of space here, legroom-wise, in the rear. You've got plenty of air conditioning vents throughout. And one thing that helps is that the middle row seats can be moved back and forth, and I'll show you that when we get up there in just a second. Now, just so you can see how easy this is to do, here is the release. You're just going to pull on this strap right here to lower the seats here in the rear. I'm not going to do that all the way. You also have buttons to do that with the middle row seats. Again, we'll take a look at that shortly. So you can maximize your cargo space. In fact, speaking of that, I will put the numbers on your screen for cargo and towing. Now, one of the other features here, in fact, I guess I do need to put this down. You do have the cargo mat here in the rear that's going to protect your floor. That's actually kind of a tri-fold mat right there. I'm going to get that out of the way for just a second here so that we can show you something really interesting here with the floor, at least back here in this rear area behind the rear seats. If you're hauling something around that might get your carpet dirty, here's the cool thing. I have this thing turned the other way. The carpet's on the inside because you have plastic on the other side. So it's actually a two-sided floor here. You can easily flip that over and that way keep things nice and clean if you need to take advantage of that plastic floor right there. So really nice little feature from Honda that you don't see in every SUV. And real quick before we hop into the back seat, into the interior back here, a safety feature that you won't actually find listed anywhere that I know of, but if you've ever wondered what would happen if maybe you had something sitting here such as this box, maybe one of your kids was sitting back here with their legs hanging off over the bumper and this rear door closed, what would happen? Is there a potential danger there? Let's take a quick look. I'm going to let you see on the screen in real time for yourself. What it's going to do is the door is going to come to a certain place and sense that something is there. It wouldn't go as low necessarily if one of your kids was sitting there, but it's going to come down and sense that it can't close and it's going to go back up. Just a nice little safety feature. Again, something I've never discussed before in my videos, just to give you a little bit of peace of mind. And let's talk a little bit about what you'll find here in the interior, starting with the middle row seats. Of course, you've got, like I said, air conditioning vents, some cup holders back here for your rear seat passengers. And like I said, you can adjust these seats. Your middle row seat passengers can adjust these back and forth. And I think Honda believes that your passengers are going to be very thirsty because there are 2 cup holders here, 2 on the driver passenger side door, and then 2 more here. That's a total of 6 cup holders. They will not go thirsty in the rear seat of your Pilot. And if they need a little bit more shade in addition to the privacy glass, well, there's how you take care of that, kind of hiding away that window sticker right there that I accidentally just damaged and got that on video. That's fixed, by the way. And how do you get to the rear seats? Well, there's a couple of different ways to do that. There's a button on the side of each side, on the driver and passenger side. So what I'm going to do is just push that. That's simple. And yeah, the way to get back there is a little bit narrow, but I think once the kids or whoever's riding back there get used to that, probably no big deal. And that's probably the best thing for the rear seat is the kids, unless you're really short. And by the way, if somebody gets trapped back there, well, they can't really get trapped back there because there's a button also on the rear of the seats here in the middle row. Push that and there you go. Kind of magic, isn't it? And tri-zone climate control. You've got dual zone in the front, single zone here in the rear, and USB connectivity back here. You can also make some adjustments with the air back here as well via what's on the rear of the console. And like I said, quite a few air conditioning vents. Everyone's going to stay nice and cool during the summer, nice and warm during the winter. And as I hit the push button start here, I don't want to forget to mention the power moonroof right here. Let's turn the AC down a little bit there. Now, for those of you who might say, it's not called the moonroof. Yeah, I get that comment too, and I can hear your tone of voice through your comments. That's what Honda has it listed as. So call it a moonroof, call it a sunroof, whatever you want, there it is. And you might say, hey Tom, what is the price of this EXL Pilot that we're looking at in your video today? On the sticker, $40,230. And if you pay careful attention, when I show that screenshot at the very beginning of the video, it's usually within the first 10 seconds from the Holmes Honda website, you can also see the price right there. So if there is a price difference, maybe it's lower on the website, you can see that there. And if you want to know for sure, of course, click on that link I mentioned earlier. Very well laid out interior right here. Everything's easy to get to. It's comfortable and spacious, easy to read, easy to use, easy to navigate. So simple that maybe I talk too fast about it and get tongue twisted. Instrument cluster right there. In fact, here's a quick little glance for you at what it looks like in the dark. I can't say at night because I took that picture during the day, but I took it inside here at the sponsor of today's video's shop, Southern Automation Incorporated. So if you are looking for help any way with packaging or production equipment, conveyor belts, all that kind of stuff, these are the guys you need to get in touch with. Again, link in the description of the video. If you do business with Southern Automation Incorporated, make sure to tell them that Tom from Vehicle Visionary sent you. I might get a cut. You never know if you get a big enough deal. Oh, wait a minute. I should probably edit that out, shouldn't I? Anyway, steering wheel mounted controls, good, comfortable, leather-wrapped steering wheel. And when you're feeling sporty, you do have sport mode. You can use those shifter paddles right there. And something else besides the 9-speed automatic transmission that is standard on all trim levels of the Pilot. Do you know what that is? It's the turn signal lever right here on the left-hand side of the steering wheel as the UPS driver comes by making tons of noise. Oh well. Does that mean I get free shipping on my next package? We'll see. But if you know how to use that, you're great. I'm glad you do that. If you don't, here, let me do something here. Do you hear that clicking sound? With the blinkers, when you flip it into the up position, that means you're turning right or changing lanes to the right in front of somebody. That way you're letting them know what you're doing. That's called common courtesy. And when you flip it into the down position, the same thing happens when moving to the left. If you've always wondered what that was, now you know, and you can start using it, especially you Shreveport drivers. And of course, it's a multitasker. I haven't talked about multitaskers in videos recently, but it is a multitasker because you can also control the headlights right here, the functionality for the headlights, the fog lights, all that good stuff. And just kind of a quick look around what's here. The very simple to use infotainment screen and give you a good look at the backup camera. Multiple views there, very easy to use. Again, like I said, you've got tri-zone climate control here, dual zone in the front, single zone in the rear, push button start, and push button shifter here. And for the chance to win a Vehicle Visionary t-shirt, I'm still waiting for somebody to get this question right. What other vehicle that is not a Honda has a very similar shifter to this push button shifter in the Pilot and other Honda models as well? It's not what you might expect if you don't know what it is. Connectivity, of course, you've got the 2 USB ports in the rear, a USB port and 12-volt power outlet here underneath the controls for the air conditioning vent and the heated front seats. And I did turn that on so you can see that those are heated, not ventilated, but heated only. I didn't turn those on for long, trust me, on a day like this in Northwest Louisiana. And the sliding door that reminds me of a garage door every time I look at one of these for some reason for the console. More connectivity down there, another USB and 12 volt. And if you wanted to fit some Vehicle Visionary t-shirts down in here and just kind of stock up on your inventory, probably a good 6 to 8, maybe 10 if you fold them just right. One of the main things that I definitely have to give kudos to Honda, among other things with the Pilot, is the driving experience. On most road surfaces, it is very smooth, very enjoyable, comfortable ride. Let's get out on the road and check that out for ourselves. Okay, what better place to test the driving capabilities and the ride quality than on a Louisiana highway? So that's exactly what we're doing here. This is one of the roads I drive quite often, and it is really rough. So you might not be able to tell in the video, I'm used to driving this road quite regularly. I know that it is anything but smooth, but to be honest, and here's something to consider when you're watching car and truck SUV review videos, think about this, guys. You're going to get varying opinions on how a vehicle rides, how it drives, how it handles, and here is a common denominator that will fall into place on that. What is the person used to driving on a daily basis? What is their daily driver as far as the person who is reviewing the car or the truck or the SUV? So just something to take into consideration, because one person might say it rides really great, someone else might say it's mediocre or maybe really rough. I don't know. There's varying opinions. For me, even though you're getting some road noise here, it's kind of hard not to do that no matter what you're driving on this particular road. The ride quality is exceptional. So I must say, I'm really impressed with what Honda has done here. Overall, I'm definitely very impressed here. This is a very enjoyable vehicle to drive. And some of the things I didn't mention earlier with the infotainment system, of course, you've got Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, so you've got integration for your smartphone. And that means if you're not familiar with this technology, maybe you're thinking to yourself, man, I'm afraid to buy a new vehicle because I have maybe a 1990 Ford Taurus or something like that. It could be a lot of different things. It obviously didn't have these kind of features. Don't be afraid of it, especially with these Hondas. It's very easy to use. No big deal to learn. Trust me on that. It's simple, and of course you have YouTube to help out with that. But all these features and functionality, the safety features, it's a simple vehicle to see out of. I find it pretty easy to see out of. Right now at the moment, if I was to show you my view out of the rear view mirror, even with that box back there sitting straight up, I can still see out of the rear window very, very well. So I must say, I'm very impressed overall. And the transmission shifts nice and smooth. Everything's very responsive. You know, I get a lot of different questions. I just try and think about that as I'm driving down the road here. People saying, well, how does the transmission act as you're driving down the road? Well, it's very smooth. And while the shifter paddles are responsive, I mean, this isn't a high performance vehicle, so obviously, you know, you're not going to expect lightning quick shifts with the shifter paddles, but just for the heck of it, let me just shift. Yeah, that's actually pretty impressive. So I'm not going very fast here, of course, on this little road, but speed really doesn't matter. You're still going to find out how well the transmission and the shifter paddles work together. So I must say, very impressive here. And while this isn't, you know, like I say, meant to be a high performance SUV, it still handles well, it drives well. In fact, if you consider how easy it is to drive, that little black truck in front of us right there, I guess is a little harder to drive. That's why the driver was over the center line when we first made the turn. In fact, there they go again over the center line. Yep, you know, I got to talk about the bad drivers in Shreveport, Louisiana. So that truck's probably a little harder to drive because, as you can see in the video, I have yet to get over the center line in this Pilot. And that is a quick tour of the 2021 version of the Honda Pilot EXL. Tell me, guys, down in the comments, if you're going to buy a Honda Pilot, what trim level are you looking at? And what year? Are you going to wait for 2022 models to come out? Or are you going to check out one of these 2021s? Got to say a special thanks to Southern Automation Incorporated, the sponsor of today's video, and of course, Holmes Honda for being kind enough to loan me this Pilot for the day, and all of you, especially all of you, for being kind enough to give me the opportunity to give you a vision for your next vehicle. I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Bye-bye.